Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone. We are from group 3 that consists of 3 members. First one is Hafiza Liati, myself. Next one is Sharifah Fauzia. And the last one is Natalinos Emmanuel. We are from group 3 will deliver a topic, namely the logic of truth, entailment and presuppositions. So let's start our discussions right now.
Logic and truth. The first one is logic. According to Newton Smith, logic is the study of valid arguments and its distinction from valid and invalid arguments. Usually, arguments consist of one or more premises and a conclusion. For example, Socrates is a man, all men are mortal. Therefore, Socrates is mortal. According to Hartford, logic deals with meaning in a language system, not with actual behavior of any sort. Logic deals most centrally with proposition. It tells us nothing about goals or assumptions or action in themselves. It simply provides rules for calculation which may be used to get a rational being from goals and assumption to action. What is important to mention in this case is that one always tries to describe the whole system of logical reference, which means that one is trying to build up a comprehensive account of all reasoning. The truth condition of the individual examples will then follow automatically. The second one is truth. It consists of four parts. The first one is meaning. Philosophers explain the term as a correspondence between a sentence and some component in reality. The truth of the sentence stands or falls with the condition under which it is expressed. A theory of truth is a theory of what truth is, or alternatively, of what something's being true consists of. The second one is the correspondence theory. First proposed in a vague form by Plato and by Aristotle in Metaphysics, this realistic theory says that truth is what proposition consists of by corresponding to a fact in the real world. The theory says that proposition is true if there is a fact corresponding to it. In other words, any proposition P is true if and only if P corresponds to a fact. The challenge to the correspondence theorist will be to give a non-trivial characterization of what being said and its agreement with or corresponding to reality. The third one is the coherence theory. Truth in this theory, on the contrary to the latter, is seen as a relation between sentences that are actually believed as being true. Stating the fact that a sentence is true would mean that this sentence fits with the largest set of sentences between which agreement obtained. Coherence theories are valuable because they help to reveal how we achieve our truth claims or our knowledge. The beliefs should fit into a coherent system. The last one is truth conditional semantics.
Entailments are inferences that can be drawn solely from our knowledge about the semantic relationship in a language. This knowledge allows us to communicate much more than we actually say. It's the sentences, not speakers, that have entailments. Entailments also depend on the meaning of the sentence, not the meaning of the context. In the pragmatics, sentences are distinguished into three types. The first is analytic sentence. It's a sentence which is true because the meaning relationship between the subject and the predicate. For example, my mother is a woman, rabbit is an animal. The second is contradiction sentence. It's a sentence which literally contains contradictions. For example, my mother is a man, rabbit is a reptile. The third is synthetic sentence. It's a sentence that it can be true or false. The interpreted would not non-linguistic information about the subject the speaker is referring to. For example, my mother is a teacher. The rabbit is hungry. The truth of synthetic sentences is based on what is happening in the world, not on what is happening in the language. If the sentence is true, the sentence is synthetically true, and if not, it is synthetically false. Types of entailment. The first is one-way entailment. This entailment means that the entailment works in only one direction. For example, A. I saw tiger. B. I saw an animal. Both of these have meanings, relationship, and the sentence can be paraphrased. If the sentence A is true, the sentence B is also necessarily true. The second is two-way or mutual entailment. This type of entailment means that the entailment has meaning, relationship, and the sentences that contain mutual entailments are paraphrases of each other. For example, my mother is in front of my father. My father is behind my mother. And the third is foreground entailment. This entailment is defined by stress, so the hero will understand which entailment is assumed or to be more important for interpreting intended meaning. Example: Rover chased three squirrels. Rover chased a certain number of squirrels. Rover chased three squirrels. Something or someone chased three squirrels. Another example is Annie ruined the sweater. Annie did something to the sweater. The answer to page number 6 is if A is true as well as B is true too. The information that B contains is contained in the information that A conveys. A situation describable by A must also be a situation describable by B. A and B are not contradictory.
Hello everyone. So in this part, we would like to discuss about presuppositions. So what is presupposition? Presupposition is something that the speaker assumes to be the case prior for making utterance. So the speakers, not sentences, have presuppositions. Presuppositions deals with the truth value in the utterance. It is about true or false, not yes and no. The truth value is based on what is happening in the language and what is happening in the world. There are six types of presuppositions. The first one is existential presuppositions. The speaker is commented to the existence of the entities named. It's not only assumed to be present in possessive contractions. For the example, your car. It means you have a car. The other example, Mary's house is new. The presupposition is Mary exists and Mary has a house. The next presupposition is the factive presuppositions. It includes the certain verbs or constructions indicates that something is a fact. For example, she didn't realize he was ill. In fact, he was ill. We regret telling him. In fact, we told him. I wasn't aware that she was married. In fact, she was married. The next presuppositions is the lexical presuppositions. So this presupposition that the speaker can convey another meaning using one word. It's an assumption that in using one word, the speaker can act as if another meaning word will be understood. When you say that someone managed, the asserted meaning is that the person succeeds in some way. For example, he called me again. In fact, he called me before. He stopped smoking. We can take another conclusion that he used to smoke. They started complaining. We can take another conclusion that they weren't complaining before. You're late again, and we can take another conclusion from that sentence: you were late before. The next one is structural presuppositions. So it's an assumption associated with the use of certain words and phrases. For example, when we use WH question construction in English, is conventionally interpreted with the presupposition that the information after the WH form is already known to be the case. This presupposition uses certain words and phrases to make some presuppositions. The other example is when did he leave? He left. When did you call her? You called her. Why did you buy this car? you bought a car. Nah, the next presupposition is non-factive presuppositions. So it is not one that is assumed not to be true. Usually, verbs like dream, pretend, imagine are used with the presupposition that what follows is not true. For examples, I pretended to agree with her. Um, I didn't agree with her. In fact, she dreamed she was rich. She is not rich. So it is not untrue from the original sentences. The next one is counterfactual presuppositions. What is presupposed is not only not true, but is the opposite of what is true, or contrary to the facts. It implies that what is presupposed is not true and the contrary is true. For example, if he hadn't been my friend, I wouldn't have helped him. In contrary, he is my friend. If I were rich, I would buy a Ferrari. In contrary, I'm not rich. The next topic is what are the differences between entailment and presuppositions. So the first one, meaning. Entailment is the relation between sentences or propositions. Meanwhile, presuppositions is an assumption a speaker makes prior to making an utterance. The next one is speakers versus sentences. Entailment. Sentences have entailments, but in presupposition, speakers have presuppositions. The next one is truth. Entailment, the negation of the first sentence will affect the truth of the second sentence. Meanwhile, in the presuppositions, the negation of the first utterance may not affect the second sentence. So guys, this is the end of this our presentations. Thank you for your attention, and if you guys have any question, you can drop it in the forum discussions in e-learning. So yeah, this is the end from us. If there is any wrong words or etc., we hope for the apologize, and stay safe and stay happy. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.